womensleadership.com. So that is the name of my website, and my work is all about supporting all of you lovely purpose-driven women making your impact and income. So I'm super excited to hear about all of your goals, right? You're all excited to make some impact in 2020. I feel like my word's expansion for the year. I just feel this already momentum building and brewing. So it's really excited to be amongst women like you who are also excited to make that impact in the world. And I just want to thank Stephanie quickly for thank you for creating this amazing space where all the transformation, to occur, and for all the leadership, being empowered in your life and business. It's so important. So thank you. Thank you. An awesome community. Thanks. And all of you for showing up, right? It's so easy to put everything else and everybody else's needs on the calendar. So congratulations for really being here and sharing with us today. So I think quickly, I just want to share, we're going to be talking about, I'm going to hand out a few of these for each of you. I'm not sure how many there are, but you can hand them down. Yeah. If you need more, let me know. But today I'm going to be sharing about magnetic leadership, unleash your feminine power to create more impact without burning out, because that's an important piece, I think, for sure. All right, so if that's okay, I think most of you are pretty new to me, actually. I'm going to share just a smidgen about my story and about what brought me here and why I'm so excited about empowering others to really step into their gifts and purpose work. I feel very blessed. My life, I kind of call it a spiritual retreat. And what I mean by that is, massage, meditation, Zumba, creativity, all of that's a part of my everyday workday. I feel blessed that for 6 years in a row, able to go to Hawaii to swim with the hundreds of wild dolphins on a spiritual retreat to celebrate my birthday, which is always such an amazing reset for 1 to 2 weeks. And I do believe it's this balance of divinity and action that sustains my life and builds my success. And it was definitely not always this aligned and peaceful. About, I guess I was a 6-figure income earner, owned my own home, single mom from the age of 20 for my daughter. We had a great life on the outside. It just looked, being the mom, being the soccer mom, building a business. I created the income doing hair and makeup for weddings, especially in the hair business, which was a lot of fun, but also a lot of work. And I felt like by society's version of success, I was doing really great. I was out there doing it all, right? But on the inside, I felt like life was seriously taking me for a ride. I was just like on this hamster wheel of to-dos and going. And my only form of stress relief was pretty much food and wine. It was like how I dealt with stress. I really had no other tools. About 11 years ago now, I kind of hit my rock bottom. Literally, that life came to a crashing halt. I had a car accident, celebrating a friend's party, had a couple glasses of wine. Next thing you knew, I was on my way home. I rolled my car, flipped it twice, and ended up in a ditch. And it was like, at that moment, I just knew the way that I was trying to sustain life couldn't go on anymore. I was fortunate that no one was injured or involved but myself, and I just got a few scratches, but my SUV was total. Literally every single window completely cracked out, had to crawl out, and I just felt very stuck and alone and hopeless in that moment because I didn't know how to do life differently, but I knew that something needed to change. And so I prayed. Thank you. I prayed to be at peace and hope, basically. I just wanted peace and happiness in my life. And so in response to this, my grandfather came to me in a dream. He came to me and he reminded me that there's more to me than just this body. He reminded me that there's spirits, spiritual support, angels, God, the universe is all here waiting to support you at all times, and that even though there was all this chaos, I didn't have to do it alone. And I just woke up, I remember, with this sense of peace and happiness and hope in my heart that I had never felt at this point until in my life. I just felt like I didn't know what the answers were, but I knew that it was going to be okay. And then synchronicity kicked in. I took every self-development course you could find, read a bazillion books, and just ate up this knowledge about, being empowered, about how I can actually make choices, and my intuition just bursted open. And so I was super excited. I went to my first intuitive reading. I didn't even know if I believed in it at the time, but she told me I'd be doing what she was doing basically in 5 years. And I'm like, I don't know about that, But I had done a quest, I'd been on my own personal journey and quest. And I realized that my gifts was really to support and help others awaken their gifts and purpose. So I started a business called Divine Spark Within. And it didn't really take off though, because although I was awakened, I was still in the spiritual closet. I was like, how in the heck can I tell my family and hair clients and wedding professional friends, now I'm an angel card reading intuitive healer, I'm like, I don't know, I can't do it, So I kind of kept things compartmentalized in 2 words. And so you might know what I'm talking about. And at the same time, I still knew I needed to do this. It was like a calling, right? And the second thing was I was paralyzed fear of public speaking. I literally, as was a good student in school, super quiet, so let me know if I need to talk louder at times. I might talk quiet. Yeah, right? I convinced them all to let me do my oral reports before and after school because I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm an A student, but I'm not going to do it. And they let me, right? And I didn't join a networking group like this because I had to stand up and say my name for 1 minute, and I just couldn't do it. And so really, I just knew that this was keeping me small and stuck. And I got to a point where, you know what, my purpose was bigger than my fear. So I found myself at a client attraction summit, basically. Because I'm like, okay, how do I do this thing? It's a whole different business model. How do you get out there and share my gifts? And they started talking about speaking. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm like, crap, really, God, now? Like, seriously? Because I'd seen this vision of speaking, but I'm like, already now? And so I know that's when I'm fighting for my fears, right? Is when I start arguing with my angels. I don't know if anyone's arguing with their angels, but it doesn't, it works out fine, except for you just don't get where you want to go, right? And so I surrendered into that, and I took myself outside, and I did this TLC body meditation process, which is talk, listen, and commit to your needs. And I got really, really clear. Within that process, I was able to discern that, what the difference is between fear and being out of alignment. And I recognized that my fear of speaking and my fear of, and really my sadness about not getting my purpose out was smaller than how it felt, the emptiness that I felt from not doing the work that I was here to do. And so I worked through my fears, faced them head on, and now here I am going to share with all of you guys, my beautiful, my awakening my message to all of the world and sharing, with you how to awaken your gifts and message as well. And that makes me feel really excited. So that's a bit about me, about why I'm so excited about really supporting other people. And I do believe that this path that we're on, is the biggest personal development program you can be in, right? As you start to forge your own path and share yourself with the world in this vulnerable and authentic way, this definitely takes that courage and growth. So thank you all for being here and doing what you do as well. So 2 quick intentions in the time that we have. I passed out, and if you don't have one, raise your hand, but we passed out some workbooks that you can kind of go along with, and there's spaces to take notes. We might have a little interactive time for you to make notations as we go, because it sticks in the body and in the brain better. And then at the end, for those of you that this resonates with, I'm going to share a couple of ways that you can take this information deeper if that's something that you want to do. So we'll go ahead and move forward. Sound good? Mm-hmm. All right. So, my actions and soul's, when my actions and soul's voice are aligned, success happens. So I want you to say that with me. When my actions and soul's voice are aligned, success happens. Okay, we'll say it all together one time. But at the same time, when my actions and soul's voice are aligned, success happens.
Always.
Yes, it's amazing, right? It's a key to life. It's so simple,
Yes.
is it? But sometimes it's not. It doesn't feel like it is. So that's really important. I know that I feel like we're really paving a new way, especially as women rising in business. Not only in this, just how we do our business from a more heart-centered, authentic, vulnerable space and the strategy, but also with our own gifts, we're healing the world. We're bringing hope and healing and awareness to the collective consciousness at large, together, each of us, with our individual, unique gifts. And that's really, really powerful. So I think right now it would be a great time to just do a quick visioning together. It's so powerful to look at this. We're at the beginning of the year, so I'm going to have you just close your eyes for a minute and let's look at what is your vision, right? This is a powerful process to do, I think, even on a regular basis. So just take a nice deep breath into your heart. You might even want to place your hand on your heart if you'd like. And I want you to just tune in to your breath. Beautiful. Taking those nice deep breaths in. And I want you to look at yourself at the end of 2020. It's just at the end of the year, you've had an awesome year. And I want you to look at, what does your big vision look like for you? What have you done? And I want you to really notice how that feels in your body. When you're looking at yourself and whether it's you've written a book or you're speaking on stages or whatever your unique vision is, how does that feel? might take a moment to tune into who's finding you and how are they finding you. Are they reading your book? Do they come to a workshop or a retreat? I want you to just really sink into your body and embody that woman that you are, who has really reached that next level of success in their vision that they hope that they're creating really for themselves in this coming year. Take another nice deep breath in and open your eyes. Feels pretty good, right? It's important. It's just tuning into that and really embodying who that person is and that confidence and that enthusiasm and that why, all of that right there is really a beautiful gift that you can give yourself to carry yourself forward and to really hone in that vision. Sometimes you might be surprised something new comes up, right? Which is also really cool. So you can look in your workbook. We're going to talk. I'm ready to dive into the 4 secrets. And the soul success secret number 1 is called Illuminating Presence, or embodied presence. To me, those are pretty interchangeable, or at least embodied presence is a big part of it. But have you ever noticed one of those, a speaker or somebody even at a networking event, where you just almost can't take their eyes off them? They're walking around and you're just kind of, you just know that, it doesn't even matter what they're saying. You just resonate with them deeply, right? You just feel that impact. And, a lot of people might call it the it factor or the X factor or something like that. But I really believe that's something we can all cultivate within us, right? And a big part of that is having that embodied presence. It will allow you to come across more grounded in your communication with others, right? So they'll help them see you more clearly. And it'll also help them feel you and be more relatable when you share vulnerably and authentically from your heart to theirs. And this is really, it's really a valuable thing when somebody can just walk in and they'll feel your presence actually anyways, whether you're intending it or not. People feel your energy and presence just when you walk in a room. And so when you can connect with people at that level, it's so powerful and magnetic, and it will start to really attract not only the people and clients, but also the right collaborations, opportunities, and ideas that want to come through you to support that bigger vision. And so that's a really important thing. And it's definitely something that I believe that we can all cultivate within us. And it takes practice, and just like everything else, it's kind of, not about being perfect, but it's definitely about taking the steps and being committed sometimes to the action. So I want to share with you just a little bit of some things that you can do to actually cultivate this. But I do have a question here, because this is a new group. I think all of you are pretty much new to me except for one. Do you consider yourself a highly sensitive person, empath, intuitive? Like, is that something that you are aware of? Mm-hmm. And it's okay if you don't, but I think a lot of you probably will. And I just noticed that a typical thing, and I think this can relate to women in general, but for especially highly sensitive and empathic people, you will feel energetically overwhelmed, right? This is a lot, like I didn't know this at the time, but when I hit my proverbial rock bottom, I was energetically overwhelmed. I was taking in my client's energy all day. I was getting off work. I'm like, where's the wine and chocolate? I just didn't know any other way to really ground my energy out. And I think women in general, we're natural nurturers, right? We're extending out, giving, and we forget to fill up. And so this can look a lot of different ways, but this is partly where energetic overwhelm can happen. And so this is important to start to become aware of and know how to balance for yourself as well. And another thing that I've noticed is that my fear of public speaking, right, was a lot to do with this as well. I had paralyzing fear. And literally, it was partly because the amount of attention that would come at me, I could be aware of judgment or my own fears, and my ego's voice would be loud, and like all this would be coming at me, and I would literally freeze and forget what I wanted to say. And I would just leave my body, right? I didn't even know what that was at the time. I didn't know those terms, but it was like, poof, I wasn't there. I was out of here. And so learning how to ground your energy, learning how to be connected with your higher self is so key, because then you can stay connected to that truth, that higher truth, right? And you can be aligned in your offerings in your business, because as we grow and change, our messaging and what we offer grows and changes. And so this is a real important way to be able to be in integrity and alignment with your purposeful work, which will always create success, income, fulfillment, and all of that. Will definitely follow. And I've noticed that, how many of you can relate to walking on eggshells ever? Just a little bit, right? I think one thing that I've noticed too through my work with women who are mostly sensitive is that we have a lot of common patterns. We might have different stories, different life stories, and different things that have happened along the way for us. But we have these common patterns that are often around creating boundaries with others, right? Around perhaps being in I know I was in unhealthy relationships, abusive relationships, because I didn't understand that this relationship was happening, or this energetic exchange was happening, right? This is way back in my 20s. So there's all these different stories, but within that, at the very core, it's like we're learning how to have boundaries. We're learning how to speak our truth. We're learning how to shine and be bright and not feel afraid of people's reactions to us, or even being concerned with it in that way, right? And those are huge steps that I think that whatever our experiences are, may they be different, we have those things in common. And so it's really important that we do that inner work to move through that stuff. Otherwise, it will manifest as being procrastination or overwhelm, or feeling stuck, right? Feeling unsure of what we want to do. And that's just ways that fear's manifesting in our life outwardly, because everything starts energetic and then it moves into this physical form. And so that's important for us, the path of the messenger is not for the faint of heart, for sure. And so this is just something that's part of that growth. And it's like, as we grow, we allow others to grow too. And so that's the beautiful gift. And then sharing the story is also a big part of helping others heal their story, because they're not feeling alone, right? So that's a really beautiful gift. And so I want to give you a few ways to really look at how you can cultivate your embodied presence. The first thing is really cultivating, I think, a success routine. I like to do it in the morning, even if it's 5 minutes though. I like a half hour. For me, it's meditation, it's journaling. It's what I spoke of in the beginning of the day. I look at Zumba, creativity, meditation, and journaling as a non-negotiable part of my workday now. Not if I have time, because it could be months. It used to be months and months, right? Before I would do those things, or give myself permission, because everybody else's needs were first. And so as I learned to have that boundary in place, that commitment, realizing, hey, I'm a better coach, I'm a better mom, I'm a better partner, whatever that is, when I'm filled up and I'm giving from a full cup, my life really changed, right? And I'm sure that we all have varying degrees of learning this one. Mm-hmm. And so that daily success routine of really connecting with your inner self, really connecting with, when you do this, your intuition opens up. I think meditation and journaling, even if it's just 5 minutes, is going to make a tremendous impact in your life if you choose it consistently. And then you'll start to guard that time, and before you know it, it's like, no, this is my hour. This is my morning hour here, my conversations with God, or coffee with the universe, or whatever it is. You kind of just take that time, and you create your life and your schedule and your business from that space. Then you're not reacting. You're now the CEO of your life and your business, because you're directing what's going to happen instead of just responding to emails, responding to Facebook notifications right out the gates, right? It's a totally different experience. And so I have a whole course, Elevate Your Mindset Success course on that one, because it's so key. And moving through your fears, like using journaling and meditation, will help you move through your resistance and fears, as well as get creative, your creativity. That's your channel, right, to get going. The next thing is how we nourish ourselves and our body, again, through healthy eating and what we're putting in our body, sugar, all those things, alcohol, whatever it is. Like, we're all going to be different, but finding out what works for us and what doesn't is really important. And then we have to get visible, which might seem like it's going without saying, but we have to be willing to be seen. And again, as I talked about it, a lot of times there's unconscious hidden fears that will stop that. So when you're experiencing that, it's like, okay, I'm taking my power back. I'm noticing that I'm spinning over here. Why has it been 6 months since I actually had this idea and then nothing's happened yet, right? We've all probably had that. In fact, I had a client I was working with, and we actually did do one session. Actually, we did one. There's an hour reading and clearing work, and we looked at. She had been wanting to create a Facebook Live challenge, a 5-day challenge, for 6 months. She'd been planning it, figuring it out, and then it wasn't happening. And so when we did the reading, we were able to see the root of the problem, like, where is this procrastination coming from? And we did some work on that, and within 3 days, she pressed go live. She led her first challenge. Her clients were finding her. She was sharing her message, and it was awesome, right? And so we can do a lot of that work ourselves, and then sometimes, it might take a helpful eye that you trust another person to help you, but that's important to recognize. And at the end, you'll see in here too, I have a couple of freebies I'm going to be giving you if you want it. And one of them is how to end your day releasing your clients and your stress so you're not taking it home with you. It's only like 7 minutes. You can start to listen to the audio as a way to create that habit for yourself, and then you don't even need it after time. You can do it in a shorter amount of time. You start to just know to make that habit of that step. So I'll share that with you guys at the end, but I wanted to let you know, because that was a big thing for me. You take your work home, and then you're working all the time, and you're not present with your kids, you're feeling drained, you just keep going on that hamster wheel. You know, it's so easy to just get unconscious too well. And then you're just feeling burnt out. That's not fun. So that is something I want to share with you. So soul success secret number 2 really has to do with what I spoke to about the energetic overwhelm, because again, it will manifest into other ways. And so it's important to really balance that within your life as well. I think I might have skipped a page, but you guys have, no, I guess I didn't. I guess we're moving right along. So yeah, that was part of the energetic overwhelm piece. It's just really learning how to balance and maintain that for yourself and finding what that is for you, right? It's not about being perfect, but it's about really prioritizing those things for yourself so that you can give from a full cup. And so soul success secret number 3 is all about mastering the art of the masculine and feminine, right? So this is knowing when to go and knowing when to pause. There's many ways to talk about this, but this is really essential. And it's so that's part of that shift that we're having, right? It's so that we can create from that soul-inspired, intuitive, feminine space instead of the structures of the corporate, how we used to just like work hard, do this, you know, oh, out for one, keep going, burn ourselves out, like 60-hour weeks, that's normal. You know, if you don't, otherwise you're never gonna get ahead. Like all that stuff is just breaking down. And so as women rising in business, we're leading from this soul-inspired, intuitive place. And that's where, you know, that morning routine, if you start creating your business day from there, you're starting to do that. Right? Your workday will shift, how you feel will shift, your information will shift. And so I want to give you a little bit of awareness. This could be like a full day workshop, but to recognize and have the awareness is really the key. And so to recognize when you're in the out of balance masculine, because we do need both. There's the gift and the shadow to both, and we need both. The unbalanced masculine is that push, it's go, it's trying to do somebody else's template perfect, it's working really hard for little results, or you might be getting results, but you're sacrificing your family and your health and your happiness. You know, all of those things is that go, go, go. And it will be that pushy salesman kind of, you know, where you repel your clients. It's like that chasing energy. It's different. Where you want to be in that attractive and feminine space. And I would say the unbalanced feminine is free-floating, creative, enjoying the upper chakras for those of us that like that space. But, you know, a lot of creating and planning and like getting ideas and booking out whole programs, but then never doing the profit producing action, never putting it out in the world. And that's where we can get stuck in that procrastination or overwhelm that stops us, which is important to address. And so you just want to lean into the opposite energy. When you notice you're in push, then you know what the answer is, to lean into the positive attributes of that retreating in. Meditation, salt bath, massage, you know, being in that receptive feminine energy for a minute. Could even just take 5 minutes, and then you can go back in a different space, right? And when you're in the feminine stuff, then that's when you look at yourself a little bit. You get some support if you need it, and you just work through whatever's stopping you, and you just make the commitment to take at least one action that day to start that momentum moving, right? You have to sometimes feel the fear and do it anyways, sometimes. So those are really important things to understand. And mastering that daily dance is an hour-to-hour, minute-to-minute, day-to-day thing. And it's going to shift and change. And so just recognizing that alignment that you have, and when you're in and out of balance with it, is huge. It's your shortcut to success for one thing, but it's also going to keep you aligned with creating from a space that feels in integrity and authenticity and from that higher source of wisdom and truth, which is really, I think, important to everyone here, right? I think judging by the groups that she brings in and all the empowered women's leadership, you know, that's important for us, right? We don't want to be doing business in a way that is what we are told we have to do that doesn't feel good to us. And sometimes yet we can get lost in it if we're not checking in. Because again, we are always growing and changing, and our businesses will want to do the same. And so that's really important. And the next thing I want to share that's important, I believe, one of the most important things you can do, and for me, spending my time, energy, and money on cultivating your intuition. We all have intuitive gifts. We're all spiritual beings, and your intuition is really, in simplified terms, a way to translate and read the energy, or translate the unseen to the seen, right? So it's connecting your spiritual information to your body, your angels, God, universe, whatever your frame of reference is for connecting with that higher truth is there for you, right? But how do we recognize it? And I put in there 5 main ways, bulleted for you, because it's really important to know how to do that. I don't think we have time to go into all of it, but a lot of you will know that there's 5 main ways that you'll get your messages and get your signs from your angels, from your higher self, from source, from God, and then we can just follow the trail, right? It's about tuning in. And so to me, that's also where the success routine comes in, because when we take that few minutes to check in and we ground, we're more present, right? The chatter of the world and the ego and the to-do lists are louder than our inner voice whispers. And so we have to learn to create space for it. And so just asking, I have a couple of prompts for you. In fact, I think we have a few minutes to do that.
You have 5 minutes.
Yeah, perfect.
Good.
This would be like a 1 minute tune in. But I just want you to say that, another thing this has helped me with in terms of your intuitive gifts. I have had so many downloads and ideas that I was excited about and then told by a coach or somebody that it wasn't a viable niche or it wasn't going to work. And then a year later seeing high-level influencers doing the same thing, right? But I didn't trust myself enough. I hadn't cultivated that enough for me to take the action on those ideas. And that's frustrating, right? And it'll keep you spinning. And that's part of us learning to trust ourselves, right? And that's through practice. And now, like I mentioned earlier, I've gotten to the point of being able to invest $22,000 in a business program to further my business of my biggest fear of speaking, on top of it, because I got to learn that to not make my decisions, to not let my mind and the fear dictate my decisions. Instead, I choose to trust and leap when I feel guided. If I was listening to my mind and my bank account, which was empty at the time, I wouldn't have made that level of investment. I wouldn't have believed it was possible. I barely got that first payment out, but then it happened, because I'm always supported, and I could lean into that with that action of trusting where I was being guided. And you have to, I'm not saying willy-nilly just go throwing money around, but if it's a guided step, just learning to trust that you take the leap and the net will appear, and not having to know the how. If you feel really aligned with that and you build your intuition, you'll be able to take steps that maybe your mind or your logic or other people would want to talk you out of, right, for different reasons. So that's really huge. So I'm going to close your eyes for one quick second. And since we've already tuned into our heart, take another nice deep breath in. And exhale. And a nice deep breath in. And exhale. I want you to just ask, what message does my soul have for me today? What message does my soul have for me today? And then pay attention to the thoughts, feelings, visions, or ideas that might come. Another one is, what next step can I take to be aligned with my highest path today? And again, just being present with asking these questions, trusting that the more you practice, the quicker the answers come, and knowing that whether you got your answer right now, that the message will come through somebody else today, or somehow you will receive it. Take another nice deep breath in, and open your eyes. Just practicing those two simple questions for 5 minutes in the morning, you'll start to open up ideas. Did anybody get an answer already?
I already had mine this morning.
Good job. See, that just
Even
validates you on
before
track.
here.
Good job. So you're tuning in and checking in, right? But sometimes we forget. We just get off to the go of what we think, and we're limiting ourselves from the miracles that are there, big and small, every day, and the support that's there to help us. I love helping people connect with their spiritual support team and angels, because they're so helpful and fun. They make you feel not alone, right? So if you turn a page one more time, you'll see that I think there's so much I could share, and I'd love to share with you, but I wanted to give you away, as I promised, for those of you that feel that you'd like to take this further. I have a free success kit for the intuitive entrepreneur. And so it comes with the 3-day activation for awakening your intuition, a visibility fear meditation, and the release the stress of work meditation, and then an invitation to my free Facebook group. And so on the very back page, you'll see if that's something you'd like to do, you can rip off the back page and sign, check that first box and fill your information in. I have another question of course, one of my big visions is speaking more in 2020. So if you have other groups that you know of, I would love to know about that. I'm open to talking with you. And then for those of you that really know that you're ready to take this vision the next step, I have the Elevate Your Mindset to Soul Success. It's a 21-day mindset and journaling. It sets you up for your morning success routine. Learning how to use this practice, very simple doses every day, to teach you how to work through your fears, how to connect with your intuition, how to actually use it as a creation process. And it's a $197 program, but I wanted to offer it to you all for $47 today. And then a super special deal that's actually better than the bottom. I didn't realize this didn't get changed because this idea came through my meditation 2 days ago for you guys to up-level it, because this group is so generous and I love you. It's called Align to Success Strategy Session. So you will be getting a 60-minute, not 30-minute, which that's normally $297 is what my coaching packages are for an hour. And we'll do a 30-minute reading on what is stopping you, what are you creating, what are you letting go of, what do you want to bring more in. It starts to open and eliminate the pathway, especially when you're transitioning or up-leveling. And then we'll do a 30-minute of, well, what is your known biggest struggle? How can I support you? What are some grounded, tangible next steps you can take so you can move forward? And so that, and then you'll get the Elevate program as a bonus for free. So that's a $497 value for $97. So I wanted to give you guys some opportunity to really step into the new year and create big, because I know that you all have amazing gifts to share, and I would love to support you if that feels like something you need support with. So thank you so much for sharing with me this time and your energy. So thank you.
Thank you.